So this next video is going to be about the entire Battle of San Juan Hill. It's going to be play-by-play, kind of like a football game or whatever. Okay. So this is at the southern tip of Cuba, right here. This is Havana Harbor over here, where the Maine sank. Okay, right there. So the Spanish have a well-protected bay right here. They have San Juan Hill, they have Kettle Hill, and it's looking over their harbor. Now the American fleet had chased the Spanish fleet into this bay, Santiago de Cuba, okay, this area right here. And we couldn't go in there without getting murdered, okay, because if we all try to squeeze in here, San Juan Hill and Kettle Hill and also all the ships here will have guns pointed at the entrance. So instead we did a blockade, okay? We surrounded the area so that way if any of them came out, we could all shoot at them at the same time. Now, we couldn't get too close to Cuba because of San Juan Hill. They had these massive cannons on top of San Juan Hill that overlooked the Gulf of Mexico, the Caribbean, okay? So any ship that got too close would get bombarded by cannon fire. Well, Teddy Roosevelt and the Rough Riders, which is his group, okay, they came in through here, okay? By the way, Teddy Roosevelt, he goes out, he was Assistant Secretary of the Navy at the time, and when the Spanish-American War breaks out, and he quits his job. He completely quits. He says, I'm going to raise an army to fight the Spanish-American War. And his intent was to become the hero of the Spanish-American War. Now, how many soldiers, or how many people do you know could literally quit their job, say, I'm going to be the hero of the next war, and actually do it? Okay, that's Teddy Roosevelt. So he asked for volunteers. These volunteers were cowboys. They were rich businessmen, robber barons' sons even. Okay, people from Harvard that he knew, that knew how to shoot. And they knew how to ride horses because they played polo all day. Okay? And this rough, ragtag group of people got together in a group called the Rough Riders. And the Rough Riders, the reason why this all worked is because there was an old law in the military that said that if you can raise your own volunteer army, then you get to lead that army whether or not you have any military training. Teddy had none. Absolutely zero military training. But he was given the rank of colonel, and they allowed him to lead the Rough Riders since he raised so many men. So they come on ships, and they can only get this far. Okay, so the shore is over here. And this is where the incident with the horses happened. They had to throw all their horses overboard, and they all drown, and the Rough Riders have to swim to Daiquiri. Now, at that point, I guess they become the Rough Walkers. I mean, I don't know. They have no more horses left. So they sneak up on San Juan Hill, and they charge up. Okay, once they capture San Juan Hill, which was a very bad battle, a lot of people died there, they turned the cannons around, and they started shooting at the Spanish ships in the harbor. Now, the Spaniards have two choices here. Either surrender, well, actually three choices. Surrender, or they could stay in the harbor and get bombarded by San Juan Hill, or they could go out and meet the American Navy fleet. They chose to go out and meet the American Navy fleet, and every single one of their ships got destroyed. So, Teddy Roosevelt's charge up San Juan Hill with the Rough Riders allowed us to capture the southern part of Cuba and get a foothold here so that way we can conquer the rest of it. It makes him a war hero. Eventually he becomes governor of New York because of that status, and that launches him to the presidency of the United States. So all because he quit his job as second in charge of the military. All right, so we talked about all this stuff already. Now, one thing that I want to point out here, okay, I don't know how much of this we've done, I doubt much, but people like to do, basically they do historical paintings, okay, and the actual historical paintings don't match up with what is actually going on in reality, okay. So take a look at it right here and make sure that you pay attention to reality. Where's Teddy Roosevelt? Well, this is Teddy Roosevelt. He's dressed completely differently. Why would they do that? Okay. Is this a smart thing to do for a commander of an army to be completely dressed differently than the soldiers? That's a really dumb thing. You know why? Because if the enemy's charging me and there's one guy that's dressed different, guess what I'm doing? I'm going to shoot that dude because he's probably the leader. Okay? Now, Teddy had a uniform on that looked almost like everybody else's. But why did they put him like this in this picture? Well, this actually was a uniform of Teddy. He had this uniform. But he didn't wear it on that day because he's not a moron. Okay? They put him that way because they wanted him to appear different than the rest, so you know which one's Teddy. Also, look at his positioning in the painting. Where's he at? He's dead center. He's the focal point of the painting. Okay? So, remember, history and historical paintings don't usually match up that well at all. Okay? Alright, we're moving on to the next thing. Once they actually charged up San Juan Hill, we have this. This is a picture of Teddy and the Rough Riders, colorized photograph sitting proudly at the top of the hill. Now, I've got a problem with this picture. Why does it exist? Okay. Well, it exists because Teddy Roosevelt brought his own personal photographers to document the battle and to take the picture of him victorious upon San Juan Hill. They literally followed the army up the hill. So this shows you exactly what his intent was. Remember, his intent was to become the most important man that ever lived. Okay? So if you look right here, a lot of people think that this is some kind of a robot or something. That is not some weird conspiracy theory or time travel thing. You know, that's a cannon. Okay? It's being stood up. This is actually the flash hole where you put the fire in to fire it. This is the breech back here where you clean it out the back. All right? So, anyway, the muzzle's on the ground. All right, moving on from that. Okay, notice his uniform, y'all. Look, we'll go back to it. See, yellow uniform, blue uniform. All right, with yellow pants. So, that was the Battle of San Juan Hill. That is the most famous battle. It's the only one you truly need to remember for the leap test.